Let's be honest, there's no guidebook when it comes to relationships. So we end up having to stumble through life trying to figure things out for ourselves. What if there was a podcast that found the answers for you, that provided insight to build a successful relationship and ultimately find the companionship you've always hoped for? Welcome to the Girls Ask Guys show, where we answer the questions most people are afraid to ask when it comes to lessons in life and love. It's time to master this thing called life together with your hosts, John and Ashley.
And welcome back, everybody. Okay, we know everything is kind of all over the place with this whole corona thing, and just like the entire world has gone into this alternate universe type thing.
Bizarro land.
Yeah.
It really is.
But we know that we have slowed down a little bit on a few items, but we haven't slowed down on everything. Because, well, the questions keep coming in. So people are still out there. They're still wondering about relationships, personalities, and how to meet somebody and how to keep things going. Or what am I going to do after all of this stuff finally clears up?
Or you're making all those dates on Tinder because you're just talking shit to people and you're bored and you don't have much else to do. But now the day is coming and you're like, what am I going to do now? And so we're kind of just gearing you guys up for post-apocalyptic worldly stuff that's happening. And our first question actually comes from a kid who's 16, so I don't think we should spend much time on it because he's a child and bullying children is wrong.
Yeah, we kind of rip people up for doing that.
Would be quite hypocritical of us. But it is a very good question, so we're going to take it.
Yeah, so and what he's asking, and it's kind of relevant because of everything else that we are doing in the background. So he's asking, do you think it's possible for someone to have no negative personality traits? Do you know or have you met anyone like this? Well, other than myself, no.
No, I've never met anyone as perfect as me either.
Yeah, but really, there is no possible way to have zero negative personality traits.
Right. And he goes on to write this very, albeit self-righteous and maybe conceited paragraph that says, I'm often told by people and have been told by a few people before that they don't like me because they can't find anything to dislike about me. I try to be good and kind to everyone and rarely lose my temper. I am also not a boisterous person like many people my age. All right.
Yeah. This right here fits the exact definition of being conceited.
Right.
So it's not that they can't find anything to dislike about you. They probably just can't put their finger on it. That you're kind of a little bit a high horse there.
Yeah, and also that you probably put your best face forward at all times, which is a tad bit dishonest, if you ask me. I think one of the beauties of the human race is that we're all very different, and we all have very different traits. And people who are perfect all the time, they don't necessarily resonate as perfect. They resonate as fake. So when you hear that, it usually just means, well, yes, like John said, I can't. Yeah, very snobbish, right? What, like, who do you think you are kind of deal, you know? And the reason we're not going to spend too much time on it is because it's infuriating to read, but also this person's young. So when you're 16, of course you think you're perfect. I remember being 16. I was perfect.
Yeah, sometimes I think I still am 16 and perfect.
Right. Like, I get it. I get the idea of it.
The thing about this is you need to be aware of yourself enough that you actually know what is wrong so that you can actually change it. Now, there are a few of my own traits, such as being a perfectionist, but I'm aware of that, so I know when to quit, because otherwise I'll never finish anything, and I would drive everybody around me up the wall.
And that's the thing. It's not about whether you have negative personality traits or positive personality traits. It's about being self-aware and knowing those traits that are negative about you and are positive about you so that you can become the best person. Being the best person in the world doesn't mean you're without sin. It means that you recognize and you actively try to avoid being that human being at all times. I mean, I'm pretty sure one of these days my carelessness is going to land me in a lot of trouble, but now that I'm aware, before I wasn't aware of it, but now I'm aware of it, I do take my time, not on everything, but sometimes I do take my time. I do actively pursue being a better person rather than pretending like there's nothing wrong with me. I can't imagine.
Yeah. And this is actually part of the course that we are building in the background. And the reason that this question is so relevant is because we actually are working on the personality traits section on how to identify and change or minimize, get rid of the negative traits and replace those with positive traits to become the person that you want to be that will attract other people to you instead of making them dislike you and push you away.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about. I mean, if you sincerely look in the mirror and you say there's absolutely nothing wrong with me, God bless you. I wish I had your self-esteem. But also I'm thankful that I don't have your unself-awareness.
Otherwise I'd call you pretty much snobbish and conceited.
Right. And there's, like I said, there's nothing wrong with having personality flaws. No matter how much you perfect yourself, you're still going to have personality. You can't, it's not something you can just X yourself out of. But if you take the time, and one of the biggest things that we saw that was a red flag when we went through this question was people answered the question and said, no, that's not possible. And the person persisted that, yes, it is, and that basically they were perfect. So that lack of self-awareness right there lets me know either A, you're super young, or B, you're super dumb. And you are super young, so you are just slightly not dumb. You just, you're a teenager, and that's good that you have that self-esteem. But you need to be open to criticism.
Yeah. And that's one of the things is even if you believe somebody has no personality flaws, I've seen this where people have built other people up so much in their mind that they were actually disappointed when they actually met them.
Marky Mark.
Yeah, on the Love is Blind. I mean, you weren't in the pods. You don't understand. So they finally meet these people, and after the first couple of days, they're just like, there's something wrong here. But I've seen it with people that wanted to meet famous people, and they go out, all they've seen is all this perfection on the screen or in the papers or whatever, and they finally meet this person. They're like, I thought you'd be a lot different,
a lot nicer, a lot less gross. I mean, and we see it happen all the time with celebrities, every single time, well, not every single time, but most times what happens is they put on this persona on TV, and then it turns out they're an abuser. We've done 2 shows. Jessica and Eve does not count. So we've done 2 shows on people who presented as one thing, turned out to be another, and you guys have heard them both, and so you know what we're talking about. You know that there's a human persona that people will put on for the world and the real them that they secretly text people in the background. So just be aware of that as we go through it,
Just look at what happened with Mr. Pudding Pop.
Yes.
Bill Cosby.
Yes.
He's sitting there. Everybody's like, no way.
Right.
Yeah, way. We've seen it happen to presidents. We've seen it. Clinton got busted for it.
Right.
We've seen senators, congressmen, governors,
teachers,
heads of state, teachers, sports stars, people that we thought could do no wrong. And sure enough, their negative personality traits came out, and everybody's like, it can't happen. Yeah, it does.
It can.
Everybody has a flaw.
Right. And if you're lucky enough to where you can't see yours, God bless you, like I said.
Actually, I would say that's even a worse, if you can't see your own personality flaws, I think that's even an even worse flaw than if you were at least aware of it.
Yeah.
Because if you're aware of it, you can control it. Otherwise, you're like my own perfectionism. I can control it. I do have problems with depression from PTSD, but I am aware of it enough that I know when it's coming so I can actually head it off, or at least make people around me, if they're not aware of it, I can make them aware of it.
Right. So I guess all in all, you're not perfect, man. You're not. I'm sorry. I know it hurts your tiny teenage brain, but you're not perfect, and it's okay. Guess what? No one is. And as you get older, you'll see that sometimes flaws are what make a person beautiful.
Yeah.
We have another question that's really quick. It's the second question that we have. Really quick, where you guys already know the answer to this one. We address it all the time. But once again, it's very relevant to what's going on, what we're doing. And so we want to make sure that you understand that it's all kind of coming together for us, you know?
Yeah. That's like hitting almost every section that we constantly talk about and that we've actually laid out in order so you can go from one end all the way through to the other end, and we have left nothing out.
Yeah, no stone left unturned over here, homies. All right, let's see. So the question is, does anybody think it's possible to be too physically unattractive to have a girlfriend or boyfriend? And I'm not going to read you the description because it's just kind of, it's just out of curiosity, but I don't think there's a description necessary with this one because it's kind of sad when someone even is reduced to asking this question. And it's very, very,
for being almost 30 years old.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, a man. And I know that women struggle with self-esteem, but men do it in silence. And so reading this kind of breaks your heart. But if you're listening right now, the answer is no, that's not true. There's no such thing as too ugly. I use Gary Busey as an example every time because he's been married 3 times. It's not, if you don't feel that your looks are up to par and it's not something you feel like you can change, then, you need to put your best personality forward, because when it comes down to making something last and something meaningful, your looks are going to fade anyway, unless you're like Lisa Ray or something, or I don't know, Victoria Beckham, David Beckham.
Even then, time is eventually going to catch up with them.
Right.
But there's somebody for everybody. Even the Elephant Man got married.
That's true, John Mayer. He did get married.
Yeah, he did get married. Somebody saw past all of his physical deformity, and you're talking about some major physical deformities, and they saw past all of that and still married him. So when you talk about too physically unattractive, you look at that and no.
No, not at all. It's not possible. Like I said, I'm sorry that you think that way. And I know we did the show on MGTOWs and incels and all of those things. And this is the kind of thinking where...
But those people, they blame other people for their problems.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that if we don't reaffirm people and we don't show people that it's possible that, yes, you're a good person. And even if you don't feel like you're the most physically attractive, it is possible. That's where this kind of thinking turns into hatred. And it turns into blame for other people. This is how those toxic ass societies start. So if you're listening to this and you hear it and, that was your question, absolutely. Listen, you are, number one, you're probably awesome as a person. So don't ever feel like you're too unattractive. There's no such thing. That's a mindset thing. That's a mindset issue.
Yeah. And even with people that I've trained and I've looked at them and you're just like, okay, they've got a tough road ahead of them because they do have a few additional challenges. They could be overweight. They could be under 4 feet. I've had one of those before. They could be extremely tall. You're looking at
that's awkward too.
Yeah, you're pushing that 7 foot mark, and it's not like they have like a muscular build, so they're thin and tall, which is like another challenge in and of itself. But even with all of these additional challenges that these people have, knowing what their strengths are, knowing what they bring to a relationship, and all they need is for somebody to pay attention to them long enough to give them a chance to show what they bring. That's all they need. The personality takes over from there.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it is. If someone's not giving you time because they don't find you physically attractive, they're not worth their time anyway. Because I've never known anyone who stayed in a long relationship that didn't actually like the person. Once again, unless it's transactional, in which case you're getting what you pay for. And that's all that is. You have to kind of believe in yourself in a way where, okay, I might not be the most attractive human being in the world, but I'm also not.
But you can also
disgusting.
give yourself you can give yourself a slightly better chance, and that's in how you dress. That's one of the first things, is that how you dress matches your personality. So if you're a funny person, go in there with some different type of shirts or something like that. Something that people look at and go, okay, that's different. And if you're a more serious type person, okay, darker colors, solids, things of that nature. And they look at you and they're like, what's all that about? Because whether we want to admit it or not, people make up their mind about a person within the first, they have an idea.
10 seconds, right?
Yeah, it's within like 5 seconds. Now, they haven't made up their mind whether they are going to invest in this person for another minute or so. But they're going to look at you and they're going to have an idea of who you are, what you are about within the first roughly 5 seconds.
Yep. And if you have a skill, show that skill off, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing sexier than seeing somebody in their element. That's another thing. So, if you can play basketball, play some basketball. There are so many people who are so worried about what they look like, and it's kind of, it makes me sad because you shouldn't
people
have to.
People get so wrapped up in all of that external stuff. They don't look at the internal. And the two have to match up. If they don't match up, nothing's going to work. And that's when you start falling into those other groups and blaming everybody else. And really, you're screwing things up before you even get the ball rolling. And now all you've done is made it worse by joining one of these thought cult things.
Yeah.
Give yourself a better chance of making that first initial impression. You only need it for about 5 seconds, and then all that stuff falls off to the wayside. And they're no longer paying attention to how you dress or how you look. They're actually paying attention to what you are saying and what you are demonstrating. Now, all they are interested in is, if their mind is still trapped in how you dress and how you look, well, they're superficial, and the relationship is going to last anyways. So might as well go ahead and cash your chips in and move on to the next.
Let it go, buddy. Let it go.
Yeah, walk away.
Just let it go. It's okay. There's how many billion? Well, there's probably a little less now, but there's people. There's a lot. There's still at least 7 billion.
Yeah, we're still around 3 billion people on the planet. So let's say a quarter of those are actually going to be interested in you. That's still a lot.
Decent amount.
It's a decent amount. I have no idea where in the world you live, but let's say you're in the United States. Well, there's 300 million people here, so there's at least 25 million that would still be interested in talking to you.
Right. See how that works?
So there is no possible way that you can be too physically unattractive, because there's somebody out there that doesn't care what you look like. They're more interested in, can you make me happy?
It's that simple.
Can you support me
really
emotionally? Can you support me mentally? When people talk about support, everybody instantly goes to money. Money is nice. Money makes things happen. But when push comes to shove, can you emotionally support me? Can you physically support me? Can you mentally support me?
Mm-hmm. And if you can't, then you can't. And that's kind of what we want to bring home with that. Like we said, it was just kind of a quick one just to reaffirm you guys that that's, there's no reason, especially if you've been listening to us for a while, that you should ever think that way. It's life's bigger than what you look like, believe it or not. And if you don't believe me, go out there and check for yourself.
Yeah, and there are people out there, they are telling him no. So can you be physically unattractive? People are out there, they're saying no.
Right. No, you can't. Everybody brings something to the table, and there's somebody out there who's going to find you completely attractive. It's just up to you to have the self-esteem to go forward with that. And we have a whole entire section about your offering and your mantra and everything you need to do to build that self-esteem, facing demons and, the good old journey and burn, which is my favorite. And then, just kind of getting rid of the things that are scaring you. And then we take you completely through how to put your best physical foot forward, such as we've got an entire section on our website just dealing with the core basics of taking a bath and shaving. We've got an entire... Yeah. So we've got
get yourself clean, get yourself trimmed up, we've got another whole section on just clothing, how to find your fashion style, and then go out there and actually do it. And this isn't just like buying stuff off the web and going on to Amazon and going, oh, I wonder, that looks good, and click. No. We're talking about making it yourself, sending the manufacturer your size, and then they will make it for you and ship it to your house.
Right. And then it's going to be perfectly tailor-made. I mean, like tailor-made stuff.
This is where I get all of my stuff. Everything from my jeans to my t-shirts. And women, we haven't forgotten you. You need an evening gown, tailor-made. You tell them what fabrics you want. You tell them the cut you want. You send them your size, and they will make it for you. Suits, jeans, tops, blouses, shirts, pants, suits, an entire suit. Guys, if you need a tuxedo, there you go, tuxedo. And it's not going to break the bank. And it's tailored to you with the fabrics and colors you choose.
Mm-hmm. That's how we do it.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that. We've got some of our own stuff out there. We're kind of tinkering around with it, but this is all cut and sew stuff. So we've got some fun t-shirts out there. We've got some dresses out there. We've got a couple of jackets, some joggers and stuff like that. So I think we got more hoodies than anything else right now.
We do have a lot of hoodies. Yeah. That's crazy. That's nuts. Yeah, we have a lot of hoodies. And we want you guys to enjoy yourselves as you're going through this whole process. So make sure you enjoy yourself while you're doing it. Have fun.
Discover who you are and let your personality come out. Your personality counts for more than everything else. Take the whole 80-20 rule. 80% is your personality. 20% is how you present it. Proper haircut, keeping yourself clean, well-dressed. I mean, I'm not talking to the nines and white glove and stuff like that, but just however you want to dress, just make sure it's in line with who you are. And everything else will pretty much work itself out. A couple little tweaks here and there, but that's about it.
Can't get much more simpler than that, guys.
Nope.
All right.
That's pretty much those two questions wrapped up. And you do have personality flaws, and sometimes those personality flaws are actually what will bring people to you. Because awesome. I mean, if you're too good, that would actually drive me up the wall. I mean, if I was going out with somebody who was just like absolutely perfect, there would be no challenge. So, I mean, I've got a debate.
That sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
It just sounds exhausting. I mean, look at you. I'm perfect boring. All the time. Like, wow, okay, this isn't fun.
If the girl I was going out with had everything that I could possibly want and there was absolutely nothing wrong with her, it would get boring. I mean, there's
the point.
Yeah, there's nothing keeping me on my toes. Want to go out tonight? Sure. Where are we going? Wherever you want to go.
Right? Wherever you want to go. Okay.
Yeah. Can you wear this? Okay. No.
Oh my God. I kill myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. So don't be that person. You don't want to be that. Like, don't be that.
No. Challenge me. Make me want to actually be better and rise to the occasion. Ew. No, I don't want. I don't want a perfect. I don't want a perfect person.
I can't. It just seems like a constant competition.
I'd always win, so there's nothing because there isn't a competition.
True. So you're
it's a competition with myself, trying to keep myself like entertained. That's
funny. Oh yeah, it's exhausting.
Anyways, people, that's the show. And we've got another one coming up. Yeah,
it's funny as shit.
It is because there's just nothing. I mean, it's Corona season, and I like Budweiser.
Right? More of like a Mick Ultra human myself, but either way,
now a Pabst Blue Ribbon would be okay, and that's some.
I'm not fancy.
I am. But all the wine is gone. So all I got is this shit beer left.
That's sad. Just head on down to like a big city or something.
I can't get in there. Every place is closed.
Yeah. You're right. Never mind.
Yeah.
Well, it's Corona season, guys, so we are having a good time. And we are making sure that we're working diligently and apparently soberly because John can't get any alcohol where he lives.
Yeah. Well,
That's awesome.
it's all sold out. I mean,
Of course
I think after everybody raided the toilet paper and realized that's not going to save their lives, so they went out and bought all the alcohol.
Can you imagine, the fallout?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting if at the end of the month they finally raise this whole social distancing thing and seeing what's going to happen, because schools they're just like, yeah, we're not going back.
Yeah.
So anybody who's supposed to graduate is no longer going to graduate unless they're just going to say, close enough. You had a GPA that if you kept going, you would make it. You would have gotten a 4.0, but you're going to have to settle for 3.8. Everybody that was supposed to go to college on a scholarship don't know if they're going to get it now.
That's crazy.
You're supposed to, you were going to go to boot camp if you graduated, but you don't have the degree yet. So, yeah.
Wow.
All of this stuff for all these people that were in high school that are supposed to graduate. It's going to be interesting seeing how all that shakes out.
Ugh. Yeah. All right. That's the show, guys.
Yeah, that's the show. So there you go. If you weren't stressed out before, now you can be.
You're welcome, America. We love you. We promise.
That's all for this episode of the Girls Ask Guys show, where all of us learn to master this thing called life together. For more answers to your questions on life and love, be sure to subscribe to the show so you don't miss a single episode. And head to girlsaskguyshow.com to submit your questions for a future episode or apply to be a guest on the show. Good luck out there, and we'll catch you next time, right here on the Girls Ask Guys show.